Hey guys, sorry about that. For the record, this is a random playlist. I did not intentionally put this song on, so just gonna go with it. Alright, so this video is about the complete lack of resources that the victims of human trafficking have. Since this whole thing has happened with Iris, I have sent out letters to multiple agencies, state's attorneys, senators, federal agencies. I've been all over the place, and if you guys have any recommendations at the end of this, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. So, part of what's been sent out to not everybody, but to some people, and I'll name who. I've written this letter, on top of other stuff that I will present after. I should do that first. Alright, fine. I'll do that first. Sorry, guys. Alright. So, as some of you know, most of you know, there's been an issue with DSS, the same people who trafficked me, trying to take my daughter, or taking my daughter to traffic her. Now, I haven't really gone into that much on here. I'm going to touch that a little bit, because that leads into the next part. So, I've been sending out letters to multiple agencies, with this information included. Now, oh god, can I turn this around? Fuck. Alright, sorry, I'm gonna do this a hard way. Okay. I don't know if that's focusing, so I apologize. But it says here, caregivers Jennifer Guskin and Scott McFalls are refusing to agree to follow through with a discharge agreement for Iris's intensive follow-up for medical care. It has been requested that Iris be seen weekly by a pediatrician from Main Street Pediatrics, seen weekly by a speech and language pathologist through GBMC, cooperated with Infants and Toddlers Referral, and continue to work with Baltimore County Department of Social Services. The caregiver's unwillingness to follow through with the recommended discharge directly puts Iris at risk for malnutrition, starvation, and possibly death. Wonderful. Now, here is a part of Iris's medical records. In this highlighted area, you can see where it says, this is from the Chief of Staff at GBMC, Dr. Sparrow. Now you can see here in the blue highlighted area that it says, concerns that we are having ongoing, non-transparent conversations with DSS about Iris and her family. In other words, DSS was not being honest with Iris's doctors about their intentions for Iris or how to handle us. The rest is just a personal note that I put in, whatever. Now, down here, as some of you know, I have been told by DSS that I am not allowed to breastfeed Iris. I didn't highlight it in this one, but on the other versions that I sent out, I highlighted recommendations for feeding is to continue current feeding method of supplemental nursing system with breastfeedings. And mom and dad in agreement with POC, plan of care. Now, the plan of care, as you can see here, follow up with pediatrician, once weekly SLP, clearance from DSS, and follow-up visit planned, infants and toddlers referral. Mom and dad, in agreement. We agreed to this. This is bullshit. This is a lie. And Iris's medical records prove that this is a lie. Now, to go on to a further step, risk of malnutrition, starvation, and possibly death. Now, I want you to see. God, I'm so sorry if this isn't coming out. I really apologize. It says 2 days ago, which is the day that Iris was admitted to GBMC. The day that she was admitted, this is her blood work. Now, you can see here, all this yellow right here shows that Iris was within the proper range for her blood work. This is the day, this is upon admission into GBMC. The one number that was up was the BUN. I can't pronounce that, so I'm not going to bother trying. This was the day after Iris was admitted. Interestingly, her blood work numbers are off as soon as they start giving her formula and put an IV in her. This is when she was admitted to the hospital. Her blood work was more or less fine. God, I'm so sorry. Okay, there we go. Now, once again, more blood. God. I'm sorry, guys. All right. You can see here, once again, 2 days ago, blood work, date 4/12, the day Iris was admitted. Everything was within the range of where it's supposed to be. In other words, when Iris was admitted to GBMC, she was perfectly healthy, other than her weight number, which is something we were trying to find a solution for. Iris was healthy, and she was taken, a healthy baby girl, was taken from her mother, prohibited from being breastfed, vaccinated, and by the way, I want you guys to see this part. The next page is is very alarming, and I don't have much experience with medical records, so if any of you have more experience and more knowledge than myself, I would greatly appreciate any input you may have. Oh fuck, the Sin petition has my address on it. Fuck it. And the next part, this was signed off by Iris's current pediatrician. She told me that this was just a routine little notation. It's normal for this to be on every single medical record that is of a person who is discharged. God, I'm so sorry about how I'm holding this. Code status information. Code status. Full code. CPR, yes. Iris was administered CPR after DSS took her. If somebody more experienced with medical records can verify that that is not what this means, and that this information was not taken out by DSS because the information, the medical records that we got from CPS were altered to have any of the vaccination information, any reason for the bruises on the back of her hands, and any mention of CPR removed. This was signed off by the doctor, who said that this only means that if Iris needed CPR, that they had permission to give it. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, but I would assume that any patient should automatically be given CPR should they need it, unless there is explicitly a DNR. So somebody can feel free to correct me on that one. I would love to be corrected. I would love to go back and know that my daughter did not need CPR. But unfortunately, CPS wants to vaccinate her again and cause her to need CPR again. Now, this has not been sent out. These have been sent to multiple agencies. And I'll get into that in a moment. Sorry about how I was holding that, guys. I'm new to this video thing, so I'm gonna make stupid mistakes. Now, along with some of these, not all of them, but some of them, I also sent out a letter. And I'll tell you who I sent this letter to. Better lighting. There we go. Much better. Dear Sir or Madam, thank you very much for taking the time to review my letter. This is being written to you on my behalf. Part of the reason why I feel Iris was targeted is because I myself am a victim of human trafficking. I was adopted at birth under the condition that those who adopted me continue to maintain access to me. Part of this access included consistent and habitual sexual usage by many high-profile individuals. One particular scenario is an instance at a childhood friend's birthday party. I was around age 6 at the time. I was brought to a basement where myself and many other children from the party were lined up in front of a room full of adults. They took turns picking a child to have intercourse with. While I was there being taken, there was a man brought into the room. He had a hood over his head and his hands were behind his back. The hood was taken off of him, and he was told that if he didn't have sex with a boy who was bent over in front of him, they would kill him and his family. There was a camera in one corner of the room. His wife and 2 children were lined up against the wall next to it. When the man realized the predicament he was in, he started crying. This was the first time I'd see a grown man cry. Now, what I'm going to be doing in the next upcoming video is I'm going to be naming names. Lots of names. I'm not going to tell you the context of those names. I'm not going to tell you what they've done. I'm not going to tell you if they were good or bad. But I want you to know that every single name that I'm going to be naming in my next video is somebody who I have personally seen at these parties, at these events, whatever you want to call them. Some of them are good people. Some of them are good people. Some of them aren't. Some of them I would take great pleasure in inflicting some serious harm to. And I'm not a violent person. But let me continue. Sorry, guys. There was a second man, let's say PK, standing next to the first. PK was talking to the first, telling him that if he wanted to make a difference, he'd have to rape this boy. It's better to, quote, it's better to rape one child than have 4 people dead, isn't it, end quote. The man was given something to stay erect and inserted himself into the boy while he was still crying. He repeatedly kept apologizing to the boy. I'd never seen a man cry that hard. This man is currently a U.S. Senator, and this was a common occurrence. We called it blackmail season. It involved politicians, law enforcement, businessmen, and everything in between. I believe Iris was targeted in an attempt to shut me up and to keep me from coming forward about the truth. They only made me louder. I would like to report what happened to me and what is continuing to happen to other children. Thank you for your time, Jennifer. Now, I want you guys to see who I've sent letters to. And this does not include the letters that I've sent to the White House. I sent letters to both President Trump and Ivanka. And I'll tell you which ones of these I sent the human trafficking letter to. Not all of them received the human trafficking letter. Assistant Attorney General, Civil Rights Division, Criminal Section. Baltimore County State's Attorney's Office, County Courts Building. I'm not going to show you each one of them afterwards. That's just going to waste your time. So I don't feel like doing that. U.S. Department of Justice, Criminal Division. State's Attorney, District of Maryland, Robert K. Her. I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Maryland Attorney General. Department of Health and Human Services. Office of Maryland State Prosecutor. Department of Homeland Security. Oh, I'll save this one. Another one to Department of Health and Human Services. I sent a bunch to different places just to make sure it gets through. But these are certified. What it means is this proves that I contacted these people and I contacted these agencies and I reached out to them and I told them about what's going on. If they don't want to respond, then that's their choice when this all blows up into their faces. That one gets saved. Sorry. National Association for Attorney Generals, Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Health and Human Services, ACLU. This one is also getting saved. Senator Salling, Senator Jones Brochin, Senator Bobby A. Zirkin, Senator J. B. Jennings, Senator Dolores G. Kelly, Senator Catherine Klausmeyer. I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Senator Shirley Nathan Pulliam. Now, these last two that I saved, I specifically saved for a reason. These people, and a couple of others, but not many others, these two people received the human trafficking letter. And I want to make sure that it is on the record, public record, thank you guys, that they've been sent as well. Now, on top of sending these, I've also called multiple places. I have called, where I'm from, Nassau County Police Department. I have called a police department in Albany, New York. I have called Baltimore County Police Departments. I have called the Human Trafficking Hotline. I have called Vets for Child Rescue, the human trafficking organization. I have contacted, I believe, I'm not 100% certain, so I apologize. There were so many phone numbers and places I got forwarded to. I contacted One Police Plaza in New York. I did contact also the FBI. I called the FBI as well. Now, I'll get back to that. Now, to go over these two people. U.S. Attorney John Huber. Department of Homeland Security, Kristen Nielsen. Those two have also been sent the letters talking about my past being trafficked. This is on top of the letters I sent to the White House, both Donald Trump and Ivanka Trump. Part of the reason why I am making this video is to talk about the fact that there are next to no resources to help people who are victims of human trafficking. There's next to nothing that we can do. We can call people and make reports and all this kind of stuff. Nobody's called me back. No, that's not true. That's not true. Vets for Child Rescue has called me back. I have yet to have an investigator show up at my door. What needs to be done for an investigator to show up at the door of somebody who spent their childhood getting raped by fucking high-level fucking lunatics? Huh? What needs to happen for something to actually be done? What is wrong with you people? How many other people have gone through this, have made reports, have talked about what happened to them, and how many other people have you turned your backs on? No more. I've had enough of this. We've all had enough of this. Names are coming today. And I want to see an investigator or 5 or 10 at my door this week. I'm not putting up with this shit anymore. Nobody else is putting up with this shit anymore. This is ridiculous. I shouldn't have to wait 2 months to potentially hear back from somebody when I can name some of the highest fucking level people out there. I've been to your stupid chess games. I've sat at your feet while you fucked around. No more. It's time to light a fire, guys. It's time to watch it burn. Where we go one, we go all.